some might consider this controversial for me to play, but I'm not play. I'm playing it to get everyone else's take.
Okay.
Day one of exposing Black history because it literally didn't even happen. So we all know the story, right? 1955, Montgomery, Alabama. Rosa Parks, she's this tired seamstress. She refuses to give up her seat to this white guy after a long day's work because her feet hurt. She gets arrested for this, and then it sparks a bus boycott. She becomes the mother of the civil rights movement. She's now remembered as a brave hero who stood up to power. The entire thing was a planned publicity stunt from the beginning. By 1955, Rosa Parks was already an experienced left-wing activist. She and her husband were attending Communist Party meetings. Also, her husband owned a car. So this is not even the first time this happened. Right. Black people were getting arrested for this stuff, but the NAACP and the activists ignored them. And Rosa Parks was specifically selected as the perfect subject for this agenda. She was polite, she was employed, she was married, she was seen as somebody who would be sympathetic to white people. And actually, the Rosa Parks incident itself was actually a reproduction of a prior incident where they planned to make a different woman into this kind of figurehead, but then they found out that she got pregnant out of wedlock, and so they had to sub her out for old Rosa. What's funny, too, is that she actually had to ride around on a few different buses before this happened, since the rules weren't really meant for women. They weren't really enforced on female passengers. Also, she wasn't even exhausted. She admitted in her autobiography that she refused the seat not because she was physically tired, but because she was tired of giving in to injustice. But that wasn't her first run-in with that bus driver either. James F. Blake in 1943, Blake kicked her off the bus entirely, yet that incident got zero attention from the activists because she hadn't been chosen yet by the activists to play this role. Here's the kicker, though. Montgomery lost segregated buses, but it didn't actually require Black people to give up seats to white people if no other seats were available. Rosa Parks was sitting in the middle section, and she wasn't asked to move until more passengers started boarding. Basically, you had a white section, a middle section, and a Black section, and the driver was trying to move the sign to expand the white section of the bus into some of the middle seats since there were a bunch of white people about to get on the bus. And so we asked Rosa Parks and a few Black guys if they would move from the middle section into the Black section, since it would literally be illegal for him to tell the white passengers to go sit in the Black section. So the guys were like, all right, yeah, whatever. But she went along with her plan, and so she was arrested because she wasn't listening to the bus driver. But she did not stop there at buses. She supported Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam, the whole kill white police officers guys. She marched in Farrakhan's Million Man March in 1995. She backed the Black Power movement, defended Black rioters in the Detroit riots in 1967. She endorsed domestic terrorist groups like the Black Panthers, also the kill white police officers guys, the Black Liberation Army, Weather Underground, the bomb and kill white people guys. Nobody knows about the history of left-wing terrorism, dude. This stuff was all going on. Despite all of that, though, she still spoke at the 1988 Democratic National Convention, hailed as a hero. Rosa Parks was a calculating revolutionary whose actions were part of this broader left-wing conspiracy, but the myth that we're all taught is designed to hide this and the radicalism that created it so that we're taught, some feel-good narrative when we're in kindergarten. Truth matters. I love Black people.
Yeah. Wow. And that's where a lot of the problem comes from. A lot of Black people are very clever and very successful and have been throughout history. We end up with because of the narrative, Black people getting their fucking faces removed from jam jars and shit.
I had no idea.
We'll get into this. Actually, first, I want to say, everybody in chat, go give Mikey a group hug and ask him if his pee still burns.
Mikey, did you get antibiotics? Did you get any antibiotics?
Bye, Mikey.
We can go ahead and discuss the
Is your dick working?
The only thing I have to say, well, a lot of things are, but the fact that a Black woman was talking with in the Democrat stuff as well, I find that pretty hilarious, especially if she's meant to be smart.
Yeah, because the Democratic Party is what backed the Civil War.
Didn't I read somewhere that the entire reason for the Republican Party being founded was to end slavery?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
I'm sure I read that.
There are many things to be learned, but what I like about the clip that Noise played is that you need to realize that this bullshit that is going on right now is ancient. Like, this shit is going on for a long time. Most
what Alchemy said is correct. this is the problem with figureheads and icons. They always have to be portrayed as flawless in their perception, but people respect someone who acknowledges and embraces their flaws. Yeah, it's like the video kind of pointed out. This was all arranged from day one, and if you really get to digging it up, you're like, I never knew that, and they prefer it that way.
I
And
had no
think it's
idea.
organic.
Yeah,
I
I
actually
mean,
didn't know that.
I am dumbfounded at this because I never knew any of that stuff.
There's more. There's actually a ton more, but I only have one more video. But you can continue discussing this.
And you know, it never ceases to amaze me at how clever the powers that be that orchestrate all this crap
Yeah, they are
are.
smart.
You know, because they know human behavior. They
Mhm.
study it.
I,
And
do you know what I would say to that, Leisure? They are people we don't know who they are. They are like they are above the. I don't think you can say the word. So children who smoke Rothmans,
mhm.
they're above that. And we don't. We will never know who they are.
Well, you
Yeah,
know,
that's what
it
they are
just
got smart at.
if you those are people that nobody knows who they are. But I will say this: I don't want to know who they are.
No, I want
I
to
got sense
because if
enough
I
to
know
know
who
that
they are, I
they
could actually
delve
kill
into
them.
some very dark stuff, evidently, and they're all trying to play us for fools. No, I don't want to
Well,
know who they
it's
are.
like I've said. It's sure they're messed up people who want to mess up other people, but ultimately it's the money. If they didn't have the big money and the big money interest behind them, they would just be some perverts and living in projects or something.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's always about the greed, but the greed gives power, power gives narcissism, power gives this godlike complex, and power then again, like when you are in the godlike complex, you will start to do weird
Power
shit,
corrupts.
like
Well,
making PDF files,
And
stuff like that.
absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah, that's all you
well,
need to say, Lilith.
you know, it's like I don't know. I
Oh,
think
I actually do
I
know.
think I think
That's
that
the thing.
in
I'm
some
stupid, but I know many
Hang
things.
on.
in
Too many
some
people.
shape, form, or fashion, those people that do all those horrible things had it in them to do it in the first place.
No,
Because I
that's not
don't
true.
care how much money I ever have, even if I was a billionaire, I would not do those things. I know I would
Hey,
not do those things.
hey,
Mm.
Alchemy, it's good that you're here. You said some really great, insightful things.
He's a
Yeah,
smart cookie.
yeah,
Bye,
that's
Alchemy.
it's good to see.
Enjoy, mate. Enjoy.
Time for coming, dude.
No, get to the point. Please pull up Alchemy's post again and talk about it because I'm sure he said something really profound and smart
Oh, I
because
already
it's
covered
like
that.
that.
Yeah. But yeah, creating a martyr, so to speak, an icon is a very dangerous thing because you have
Or
to keep that icon in such pristine condition that any crack in it and people fall out of favor with it, you know? So it's exhausting, I'm sure, to try to keep up that facade for so damn
Yeah, but
long.
would you say they do a pretty good job?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
I mean,
I
what
had
you
to.
reminded me of
Maybe
is
it may be in poor taste, but I couldn't help it.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I just missed something here, but what Elijah was telling and saying, it reminded me about the Prophet Muhammad. You cannot criticize this motherfucker um, without being in actual danger of your life. With the people who are following this rotten religion in the first place. Like they really will kill you anyway. But if you talk shit about them prophets, they will fuck you up like for real, for real. And that's kind of insane when you think about what this person really was. and they just accept it and think it's cool or something. I'm really disgusted with humanity so much that today I cannot hold myself back.
Well, that's great, and you wanna know why? You still consider them humans. I'm not saying that black people aren't humans. I'm not saying that. I'm saying these people pulling this shit. I find it hard to still see them as human.
Look at what File 13 said.
File 13.
Oh, there will be file 13. Nice.
This one is going to her. Why can't Helen Keller get a license? Because she's a woman.
Oh my god.
Oh Lord. But yeah, I mean, if you really started digging into all of that stuff, then it gets pretty intense.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah, it gets pretty
Yeah, I don't know
intense.
what is
and-
good. What is good nowadays? Please answer me this question. What the fuck?
Whatever
is
you
good?
like.
Well, it's what you make it.
Well,
I mean, you.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing is good, that we still have the ability to get together and hang out and discuss these things.
Yeah, that's the good thing.
Well, yeah, that, but also, we can't really tell you what's good because it's whatever you deem to be good.
Yeah,
Mm,
it's whatever.
Okay,
you
that's
choose.
more of a me issue. Okay, I understand.
Yes, technically, yes, that is a you issue.
Well, you can find good in everything if you look. Pretty much everything.
okay,
Wait a minute, not everything.
Well,
Most.
okay, I understand. I do see the good things in people. I do see it. I'm not blind. I mean, I'm only 42 years old now, closely to it. I watch this world very closely. I did see nice things, like interactions from humans to animals being very kind, or interactions with humans with other humans being very kind. I did see that there's nice things to be
Okay,
had.
look, I do have a second video by the same person, and we're gonna jump into that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Day 2 of exposing black history because it literally didn't even happen. I've heard for my whole life that we can't understand American history without essentially orienting the entire conversation toward the practice of slavery. Thus, we must take time to discuss the first legally recognized slave owner in the American colonies, a black man named Anthony Johnson. Now, I don't know why we don't learn about this guy in school. I mean, he got to Virginia in 1621. Historian Philip Foner called him the patriarch of black property owners in America. So essentially, Anthony Johnson was kidnapped by African slave traders in southern Africa, sold to the Portuguese, sent to Virginia, where he eventually earned his freedom. But then he would go on to purchase slaves himself and even use the legal system that we're told is so systemically anti-black to take a black slave away from a white guy. And then he would end up becoming, an extraordinarily wealthy tobacco farmer. So I don't bring him up to be like, oh, look, black people can be successful in America. We obviously know that. It's just to say that how he obtained that level of success seems to be a bit typical for that time, wouldn't you say? So he had 5 indentured servants. He had 4 white guys and 1 black guy. A little bit of a sidebar on indentured servants. I don't know if you know this, but because indentured servitude was a temporary labor contract rather than lifetime ownership, like with slavery, they were often treated far worse than slaves were. They were worked harder, they were beaten worse, they were starved more because their masters had no long-term interest in their health, which is why the mortality rate of indentured servants was actually much higher than slaves. By the way, indentured servants in America, overwhelmingly white, just if we're keeping score. But the one black indentured servant that he had was a man named John Kaser. He claimed that his indentured servitude contract was only 7 years, and so he wanted to leave, and his wife and his kids begged Anthony Johnson to let them go. But Anthony Johnson said, what are you talking about? There's no contract. I simply own you. So John Kaser leaves anyway to go work for this white guy on his plantation saying, hey, I'm a free guy now. Anthony Johnson literally chases this guy down and gets the courts involved to say, nope, I'm taking you away from this white guy. I actually own you for life. So because of Anthony Johnson, John Kaser became one of the first Africans in America enslaved for life as a result of civil suit rather than punishment. It's like literally on his Wikipedia page. That's what he's known for. Save me the crying about American racism when black people were literally enslaving other black people on American soil before George Washington was even born. Truth matters. I love black people.
Well,
There's
I mean,
actually
the-
well.
Okay, I need to admit, I didn't know that one.
things
Okay,
out about the South and the Civil
I need to research this.
before the Civil War and stuff like that. What a lot of people don't know is there was a lot of white people right along with the African people
yeah,
that
there were.
they took.
And there were a lot of enslaved natives, but not as many because what they claim is the natives would run away.
Yeah, they'd run off and
I
join
can't
the
help-
friendly
I
tribe.
can't help but to notice and point out at the end of his video, he's like, I like black people, but it cuts off. So I'm thinking he's going, I like black pussy. Right?